Hey guys, how's it going? Eric Norris here. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the 5 key steps that it will take for you to have financial freedom, quit your job, and have passive income coming into your bank account for the rest of your life. I've done this and I'm here to help you guys do this. All right, you guys ready? You guys with me? Let's have some financial freedom. Let's go. All right, so step number 1. You got to start somewhere, right? So you got to start with a great paying job, something where you're making a great amount of income. That's the first key crucial component to making this process work. Having a good paying job, and then you're starting to tuck money away. And the way you're able to tuck money away is because you're not having high expenditures. You're keeping your monthly bills as low as humanly possible. Get rid of all those added extra things you don't need, because right now you are in saving mode. You are doing all that you can to save money to put that down payment down on your first property. Just keep that discipline, keep that mindset straight. That is your focus. Just every month. The best thing, this is something I've done in the past, working a full-time job. What I would do is every paycheck, every 2 weeks, I would take $500, put that in an account that I would not touch so that I could build that nest egg. That is so key. And so this is kind of point number 1 and 2. Get a good paying job, right? That's key. And then secondly, having that low overhead so that you can offset that. You got this great paying job and you got this, wedge where you got this extra money. So here are all your bills. This is how much you make, and whatever's left over, you tuck that money away and do not touch it. That is the key. All right. So, so let's just go on to number 3 now. So number 3 is basically at this point, you're going to want to start doing some research, not only about real estate itself, but also the markets, the areas, the cyclical markets, the ups and downs, all the facets about real estate. And so what I did, this is probably like 2006 or 7, I read every single real estate book I could possibly read. And I know this sounds like a lot of work and a lot of steps, but I am telling you, this is setting you up for the rest of your life. So you do not have to keep hustling. You do not have to break your back every day working for the man. Let's get that financial freedom, baby. Come on. All right. So number 3, do your research. Read as much real estate books as you possibly can. I recommend reading Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Also, Cash Flow Quadrant is another one of his really great books. The ABCs of Real Estate Investing by Ken McElroy is a really good book. Any Bigger Pockets books are great. Any Grant Cardone books are fantastic. 10X Rule. And he's got another one, this one right here. How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate. This is a good one. Think and Grow Rich is another good one. And this is the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. So when you're looking to purchase this is basically what it looks like. You can buy this on Amazon. I think you probably get it used for like $6 or something. But anyway, you got to do your homework. You got to do your research. You got to know what area you want to purchase in. And it's recommended that you buy a property that's within where you live. Whether that's 30 minutes, an hour, at the most, that's kind of high. But 20, 30 minutes is key if you can. Now, if you're in a market where the numbers don't make sense, then you might have to move. You might have to, and that's what I did. I was living in Los Angeles, and the numbers for a real estate investor in Los Angeles did not make sense. Pun intended. And so I had to move to Nashville, Tennessee, because I'm a musician, singer-songwriter. So Music City, USA, that fit really well for me. But also real estate was extremely low. So check out the markets, do your research, and know what market you want to invest in, what type of property you want to invest in, and just prepare yourself. You're going to also want to, at this point, you're going to be looking for a real estate agent and also a banking, loan company that's going to facilitate the loan. A lot of times, if you have a good real estate agent, he will recommend you someone that he highly recommends. But if you're working with a real estate agent, he will most likely have a good lender that he can refer you to. And that's what I've done in the past, and that's worked out fairly great. And so the great thing about this point is you're going to be contacting the lender saying, okay, I need to get pre-qualified. Where do I sit? So he'll run your numbers. He'll look at your debt to income ratio, see what your income is, see all your assets, and he'll do an assessment to see what you can qualify for. And that will give you the ability to see where you can go from there. All right, number 4. Let's do this. Start investing in real estate. Execute. Pulling the trigger. Buying your first real estate property. Number 4. So at this point, you've done your homework, you've done your research, you know where you want to purchase, and now you're looking at deal after deal. And one thing I highly recommend is you basically have to look at about 100 deals before you find your first one. That's not always the case, but in order to be familiar with the neighborhoods, if you're coming from a new area, whatever the case may be, sometimes it takes a little longer. And also be aware of what point in the market you're in. Right now, the market cycle that we are currently in, we've hit the plateau and now we are down ever so slightly. I'm seeing price drops now. We're seeing concessions offered by sellers, which we haven't seen in years. So the market is shifting right now in favor of the buyer. Not 100% in favor of the buyer because there's still the high interest rates. But if you can do something like assuming the loan from the seller, that's one way that you can have that low overhead and get that low mortgage payment every month. And that's a whole other topic. But anyway, number 4, executing and buying your first income producing property. And what that means is, where do the margins make sense? Usually that entails a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex, and anything above that, anything above a quadplex, 5 units and above, that's commercial real estate, and that's a different loan process. But if you're sticking with residential real estate, triplex, quadplex, duplexes, those kind of things, the margins are better than if you just purchase a single family. But you can still make money on single family residences. There's what's known as a wedge deal and or a value add deal, which means you're buying the property below market value because it needs work and you're building some sweat equity in there, so you're insulated from if there is a downturn. Let's say you built 50 grand worth of equity in the property, it's somewhat insulated from the market at that point, depending on what the numbers are, of course. All right, now we're on to number 5. Now you've got the ball rolling, right? So you know what it takes, how to buy your first property, and basically you repeat the process. And in order to figure out what number you want to be at, you got to reverse engineer it and say, how much money will it take for me to be able to leave my job and not have to ever work again? If it's $50,000 a year, let's say, then that most likely will mean you'll need to buy enough properties to equate to about $100,000 or so a year gross income, which usually, if you do the math, comes out to about half of that, which is about $50,000. You just have to run the numbers at that point. You reverse engineer it. You go, okay, what type of properties are gonna yield the most income? And so then, for me, for instance, 3 properties has been the magic number right now to hit $100,000 a year. And so you just got to look at that and go, it's different in different markets. You can get way better deals in other places, but you might not get as good of a monthly cash flow return. And that's the other thing and the final key component that I want to mention about this is cash flow. That's the whole thing, because you're getting out of the rat race, right? You're creating financial freedom for yourself and for your family and for your future's family possibly. And so you want to make sure that any income producing property you are purchasing, you need to know what the numbers are for cash flow. One thing I recommend is you go to rentometer.com. You can type in an address and it will tell you, it will propagate or it will tally up all the rental properties in the area that are currently on the market available to rent. And it will give you, a range of what the amount per month would be for you to rent a certain property. So that's how you can crunch the numbers. You can simply go, okay, here's the property. If I put 20% down, then this is going to be my mortgage. So if this is the amount, let's say it's $1,400 a month, I want to make sure that I'm making at least $2,400 a month on the property so I can yield at least $1,000 a month on that property alone. Like, you just have to kind of run those numbers. And so that's basically it, guys. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's kind of like when you hustle and work hard in the beginning, you can set yourself up for freedom financially for the rest of your life. I think that sounds dang good. How about you guys? So I hope this video helped you guys. I hope I was able to break down the steps of how to have that pathway to financial freedom and for you to get out of the rat race and for you to start living your life. Let's go, baby. Eric Norris here. I hope this served you well. If you found value in this, please like, please subscribe. I'm working on building this channel and helping you out. Thank you so much and have a great day. Eric Norris, peace out.